What's up?
Awesome. How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. I've been wanting to do this for a long time. I have long been a fan to the point where I can talk about the Mudge Boy and Imaginary Heroes.
Oh, okay. All right.
Uh,
Mad props there then.
Listen, Imaginary Heroes is one of my favorite movies. I
Oh, thank you.
it is one of those like when somebody asks, "Oh, you're a film critic. What should I watch?" I always pull that one out just because I know they haven't seen it. But
That's awesome.
it's such a great movie. I use the enema line all the time. Like,
Mm.
I'm not buying you candy. Uh, but I think it speaks to your taste. I think, I love Imaginary Heroes. I love The Girl Next Door, Into the Wild. You should have been nominated for. Like you seem to gravitate towards projects that don't feel the same. You know, Speed Racer, nothing like anything else you've done. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. This, how do you know that you want to do something one and that it speaks to you in that way because you don't seem to repeat yourself.
I wish I could take more credit for the films that I make, but as an actor's career goes, we're largely, subject to what we get sent.
Totally.
And I think I've been very fortunate that I've been at the right place at the right time for a lot of these films, and and been able to contribute in the way that I can when I make them. I mean, it's just me being lucky that I was
Yeah.
21 years old when Sean Penn made Into the Wild. It was like I was the right age for the right role at that time, and there's a little bit of luck involved. You're in the right place, the right time. And I obviously do the best I can with every job I take. And I still really have a passion for stories and characters. And I really love working.
Oh yeah. I mean, you can see because yeah, you're right. It is, it's one thing to be like, oh, I'd love to be in this movie. Well, if they don't want me or they're not sending me the script, it's not going to happen. Like it's great to want things, but you do get sent things. I'm sure, for every 10 you get sent, there's only one or two that you would want to do to begin with. So there is some degree of between you, your team, whoever figuring out like this isn't for me. This could
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
there's still a matter of taste.
Absolutely. I mean, I usually have just a sense when I read something if I like it or not.
Yeah.
Um, it's my just like a horse sense, I guess.
Yeah. Well, I mean, sometimes you also, as it comes in, who's involved, or like who they're thinking of. Oh, I want to spend time acting with Bruce Dern. That sounds fun. I want to be with Brian Cox. Like you can, there's reasons to do it like that, and then there's something like this where you just go, okay, this is pretty much going to be me and one or maybe two other people in a room. It's just going to be on me to act, and that's a cool challenge.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the challenge with this, and this script was very well written. It was a very compelling read. So it was not a hard script to want to do, and I like the way that the role was written of Mikey is this happy-go-lucky guy with these dark demons that he tries to bury down, but then they end up coming up as a result of staying in the room. So um, working with Kate was another huge draw for me because we'd worked together on Force of Nature with Mel Gibson in like 2018, and we got along together great.
I mean, that's
We got a
yeah. There's so much to that. I think also just wanting to enjoy who you spend time with. It's because it's a better job than most people have, but it's still a job. And if you're not having a good time, it's gonna be miserable no matter how well paid you are, no matter how comfortable it is. You want to, as a human being, you just want to enjoy the people you're with and like be happy when you
yeah.
wake up.
And Kate and I got along so well on Force of Nature, where she literally starred in this music video I did called Love is Real, based off the song me and this French guy made. And she was the lead in the video with me and her, and we shot that on the weekend.
Yeah.
That's just an example of how our camaraderie was. We got along super well.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's the thing. If you're not getting along, it makes it so much harder. Even if like your characters aren't supposed to get along, like your actors, how to fake that. You don't need to hate each other. There's something there when you like each other. It's just like with friends. You're a better version of yourself. You're more fun. You're more creative. All these things are better when you like who you're surrounded with.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, for some reason, Kate and I always just got along really well. I don't know. It's like a sense of humor thing, or I don't know exactly what it is, but we just did. And so when this was sent to us, we were both like, "Oh yeah, we got to make it with you."
Yeah, totally. Well, that's the thing. You want to, like I was saying, you want to enjoy who you're with, and you never know who you're going to get along with, because especially if in you guys' line of work, like if you've never met before, you only know them in the way that an audience knows them or through someone else. So you're still entering, going, "Well, I hope they're a nice person. I hope they're good. I hope they're going to laugh at my joke or not look at me like I'm a weirdo, because I want to be a weirdo. I want to be able to have a good time." And that makes, I think, something special like this, it can be a hard project if you're not having a good time, because it really is just, here's my character, here's your character, here's how they bounce off each other. And if we can't do that, it'll feel so flat, because like you said, your
Yeah,
character is very happy-go-lucky and kind of has the darkness come out naturally, and that's very much what getting to know someone is like. You never know someone's like worst qualities or their pain. You only know what they put forward at the beginning. So that evolution, I think, is only because the characters are able to develop with each other.
yeah, definitely.
Is it a harder thing to prepare for, because it's like, okay, well, there's going to be less time where it's not, the camera is not on me, and it really just is how the character evolves or sort of devolves. It's once upon a time in Hollywood, it's like, okay, I'm here, and much of this is going on around me, and I'm just kind of like helping make it better. Here, it's, this will fail if I don't do a good job. Does it feel different?
Well, this was one of the unique parts about making this film for me was actually the preparation process. Because I was working on a film in Guatemala, and I wrapped this movie, and it was like a Friday, and I traveled Saturday, and then I did a wardrobe fitting on Immaculate Room on Sunday, and we were shooting Monday. So it's the least prep I've ever had on any movie ever. Normally you have at least a month, you know what I mean? Not 48 hours or something.
Yeah.
So it was a new type of way of making a film for me because of that.
Yeah.
Where I was just learning the scenes like right before I shot them.
Yeah.
Almost. And there was something that became very liberating about that kind of process for me, because more and more I was just relying on my instincts.
Yeah.
It wasn't necessarily me going back and forth for a couple weeks and finding maybe a certain amount of like actorly artificiality or predetermination in the performance. It was way more fully like learning the material and then letting my instincts take over.
Yeah.
For the majority of them, which goes back to the very first acting advice that I ever got from Sean Penn, which was to trust my instincts.
Yeah. When especially, I mean, at this point, you've done it long enough that if you're not going to trust your instincts at this point, like, what, it's not gonna suddenly kick in. But I can imagine why there would be sort of like a benefit to that, because I'm sure there's different benefits to, okay, I have a month, I can slowly build up this character and I'm still living my life. And, as we get closer and closer, I'm spending more and more time thinking about this. But also, depending on the role, at a certain point, you might be like, I'm thinking about this more than I need to. Like, I know this character, or I'm, this person doesn't think about themselves as much as I'm thinking about them. Like, there's some degree of, take the material as it is, and I know how to do this. Like, people have told me for 20 years now, I'm good at this. Like, I should believe I'm good at this and I can do this.
Yeah, I think that I lucked out with the way that the schedule was for this film for me, for sure.
This could definitely, I think, be one where someone's just so in their head about, okay, it's all on when do I show this turn in the character, and like you said, the script will tell you, will guide you, and acting against Kate will guide you, and instincts. At a certain point, if something's going right. I'm sure you've been on projects where you're like, I don't know that everything here is going the way it should. And just like there are ones I'm sure halfway through you're like, I think we did something special here. Like, this is a good one. Like, and there's no way to know before you start. You just have to be in it. So at a certain point, I want to do this. Let's do it and see what happens. Because it's play. It's serious play, but it's still meant to be fun and enjoyable.
Yeah. And I've also been doing it long enough to where when my process or the process is disrupted, it's kind of, it becomes more of like exciting.
Yeah. No, I can imagine younger, like still worried, like, what if I don't want to go wait tables? I want to do this for a living. Somebody gets you like, no, this is very serious. Like, sir, do you know what movie you're making? Like, no, it's still serious. But here, at this point, you're like, no, I know I'm an actor. I know how to act, and I know.
Yeah, I'm at the point where I'm just taking the rule book and just throwing it out.
You're like, well, yeah, because if just because that's sometimes how you get the best acting. Like, you talk to some of these legendary actors who are just like, I don't do anything I'm supposed to do. I do the other way, and that's what works for me. And if it doesn't work, you're also at the point where like one's not going to send me like to the unemployment line. There's a freedom in that, and not having to be terrified that no one's going to hire me, or no one's going to take my call, or I'm going to have to, I'm going to have to work in porn if this doesn't work out. There are certain work, you have on the roster. Though, I mean, I don't know. That's a new challenge. That's a whole other story, though.
A lot of money in that business. I heard.
That's true. We're all doing it wrong. No, I joke. I'm one bad month away from my OnlyFans. But listen, wouldn't watch as many movies that way. As we sort of build to the end, it is interesting to watch you in a movie like this, because I feel like I was saying earlier, it is sort of a new challenge of like, okay, I have a co-star, but a lot of this is on watching me. And Into the Wild was kind of like that, but there were so many times where I was like, okay, here's my segment with Vince Vaughn, here's with Kristen Stewart, Zach Galifianakis. Like they're the focus, or Hal Holbrook, the focus would always be on the other character and your sort of reactions to them. And this very much is you reacting to yourself in a way. And it's, as someone who likes your work, it's kind of just captivating to go like, in a way, you've kind of been building up to this. And like you said, just having the opportunity to try it this way, it all just sort of worked out.
Yeah, I always responded to the role. It felt like, a meaty role and an interesting character that was a character that I liked.
Yeah.
On the page, I liked the guy. So to play it with as little prep as we had, which ended up the catch-22 of acting, which never makes any sense, was that I'm better because I didn't have the prep. I mean, it's so frustrating to be an actor, because the longer you do it, when you realize, you're like, I finally realized that this rule book is like, the last rule is ignore all the rules.
Yeah.
It's like, but you don't get to that rule until you finish the book.
Yeah, no,
it's this really weird, dark art of acting.
Yeah. Where you also don't tell anyone on the next one. You're like, no, I want time and money. Don't tell me there's none. Like, secretly, I'll work better without it, but don't do anything. It's like Anthony Bourdain's book about like, don't eat fish on Tuesdays, don't do this, don't do that. And the last word is like, but I do all this anyway because you got to live, and like sometimes it's going to taste better that way. Like that's just life, and I think that sums this up really well. Is like having the experience to know I can throw out the rule book and I can be liberated and not feel like I'm like naked. I feel like I'm liberated to do what I want is a really great feeling. It only comes with time.
Yeah, absolutely. This probably more than any other was a performance that, I would have never tried to play it the way that I did without the experience that I had.
Oh yeah, you would, I think, and maybe I'm wrong, I just feel like I would see you like thinking. There would be a lot of like thinking going on. It was just like, okay, here's what I want to do. And that's what you learn almost not to do, is just to react, in a way that this material would need, just the reaction. And it shows. It's a great performance. So you should be very proud.
Thank you so much.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Thank you so much for doing this. Listen, I don't get to talk about Imaginary Heroes and The Girl Next Door too often. So anytime I can break those out, I'm a happy camper.
That's awesome. Thank you, Joey.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you so much.
All right. Bye-bye.
Take care.